Hey everybody, welcome back to Angry Badger Minis. And we had a change of plans. Tau is done, but in order for me to move on to Chaos with the amount of models and armies, it would have taken some moving to do that I would have had to keep moving models. And so my plan is now to rescue and rebuild my Imperial Guard, or Astra Militarum, however you say it, you know that they say it now. And that's what I've actually been working on here for the last couple hours, well, that and fooling around. But I wanted to show you guys what I'll be doing. I won't be working on my Krieg Death Corps. That's not going to happen anytime soon. But I have a sizable Steel Legion army. There's all kinds of tanks and everything right, literally right down there. I literally have this that's going to be added to the Steel Legion. Let's see if I can bring it up here. This is it's the Astra Militarum Hammer of Cadia box set. Actually, I got that backwards. Hold on. Keep forgetting we got the camera the right way this now. With Baneblade. What do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 3 Chimeras and 3 Lehman Russ battle tanks. And I actually have 2 box sets of this. So one is going to be for my Krieg Death Corps, and I have a bunch of extra tanks and stuff. So this entire box set is going for my Steel Legion, because they're, you know, basically my chair stuck here. Weird. Anyway, they're my, next to the Krieg Death Corps, they're my next favorite. I also have some Katachan jungle fighters that I had painted a long time ago, just, you know, fooling around for a jungle type board that I was doing. And it was going to be a very more Lost Patrol type of game, even though I didn't know anything about Lost Patrol or that it even existed. It was my own setup, which is partly what inspired me to get a Kroot army. But anyway, that's what's in this jar, is a bunch of them, as well as a bunch of stormtroopers. I'm sorry, well, I guess they're called Katachan or whatever now. And what I'm gonna do, I just wanted to show you guys what I did as far as I mean, I'm still gonna keep them the same way, because one, I don't have the parts, and 2, I just don't even care. But I like what I did here is I took multiple flamers and, you know, and then some gas tanks and things like that, and turned them into heavy flamers and stuff. So these were squads that's all they were outfitted with, was las cannons and flamers in the jungle, and of course radios and things like that. Again, this was, I'm trying to think when did I paint these guys? Probably, let's see, would have been 2006, something like that. Yeah. So anyway, those that I was able to get the base off the bottom, which doesn't look like I can do on this one, I threw them in there, and if I can't, I'm just throwing them in here anyway. They're just glued on a little too much. Worst case is that we'll have to rebuild the feet or something like that, you know, if for some reason the base doesn't want to come off. That being said, I also I realized, or did not realize, but I do, I have another brand new box of Katachan jungle fighters, and I have a box of Cadian guys, and because the Tau curse is real, and I don't know where this other one is, inside that box was, lo and behold, the new gosh, what do you call them? Tau stealth suits. You know, I think they're the XV-25s. So apparently I put one of these together a long time ago. I don't know where he is. He's got to be around somewhere, because here's 2 of them. So the Tau, I guess, technically aren't done, but, you know, whatever. And I think I had in my head, the reason I bought that was that I was going to have one of those guys be like the, you know, the sergeant, if you will, whatever the heck the Tau call them, for like 3 different squads. So I don't know. But anyway, basically what I'm doing here, just wanted to show you guys, I have a mason jar here, and we got a ton of models in here, a couple of Steel Legion guys that need some work, and some of these guys had, they've got some if you want to call it corrosion or whatever you want to call it, from back when I tried to strip them with simple green. So I've got this LA is Totally Awesome that I got at the dollar store. I'm going to attempt to try to strip these guys and see how this works out. So we're just going to pour that in there, and then they will end up sitting in there for, I don't know, however long. There's not much left, so nah. I've got some other projects I could potentially put in a smaller jar, but there's no real smell, which is great. I am actually sealing it up, as you can see, so that way if there are any fumes, it's not leaking around my house. And that's all we're gonna do, man, is we're gonna let that sit there. We've got all kinds of stuff, backpacks, freaking, you know, all kinds of things. But I'll let that sit there up on the desk, and you know, for a day or two or more, and we'll get to it. In the meantime, something else I had to do was I had to check base sizes, because I don't have what I have according to this this chart here. I don't see anything that says 60 millimeter on it. It says 65, and when you look on the website for Games Workshop for Sentinels, which is what I'm getting ready to talk about here, the base size says it comes with a 60 millimeter base. Well, 5 millimeters, blah blah blah, I don't really care. So these bases, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to tell what I've done here, but well, yeah, you should be able to see. You see how I've glued it onto the 65 millimeter base? They're considerably smaller and considerably thinner, but that's the base it actually came with. But I went ahead and glued it onto this one, so that way things are a little more consistent, I guess, in my army. I may have to order some more bases, because I'm not exactly sure why I had these extra bases. They may actually belong to something else, like Tyranids or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. Also, wanted to show you, well, actually, so if you take a look, these guys were stripped, you know, in simple green. Okay, and it, you know, in the process, you know, legs fell off, things like that. You know, it's no big deal. You just get the old glue off and, you know, put it back on. It's not a big deal. But I wanted to show you cleaned up, just at least with the primer, you know, what they look like, and I still think they look pretty good. And this is just with that Tamiya surface primer, gray, and they're gonna work out real nice. I want to tell you that these models, these things were sitting in simple green for, man, I don't know, probably a year before they were even pulled out. And then when they were pulled out and put in a dry bin, they probably sat in that bin for 2 years, sealed with the fumes and everything else. And as you can see, nothing has happened to them. So I just wanted to let you know what your options are. The LA is Totally Awesome is something that I saw from somebody else. I mean, I've done it all, man. I've done brake fluid, I've done, you know, simple green, purple power, you know, you name it. But the only thing I haven't done is LA is Totally Awesome. And my understanding is it's the best thing out there through all the tests. So we'll see. I mean, some of the paint's pretty old, you know. It's probably not going to be a perfect solution, but that's okay. But anyway, next topic here is this Lehman Russ here, which is one of my first conversions way back in the day to make it into a Vanquisher tank, because there was no way I was going to be able to afford the Forge World model back in the day. As a matter of fact, I'm not even sure. I'm trying to think if they even had the Forge World model. I don't remember. But this was completely stripped as well. I just threw it in, you know, the whole thing, just threw it, you know, along with this Chimera here. I threw it right into, you know, the vat of simple green. I will tell you, there's maybe, unless I'm just, my nose is remembering the smell, there's a slight hint. But after I put the, you know, this primer on, it's probably gonna, if it's there, it won't be there anymore. Again, I thought I might just be remembering the smell and it's not really there. I will be spray painting or priming the entire thing to include the treads. and then I will probably go back over and repaint the treads, mud it up and stuff like that. At least that's the plan right now, because I don't foresee me really getting on here with some tape or silly putty or anything else that I have and really trying to go to town with doing this. It's just not worth the, the time. Not when I can get in here with an airbrush and knock it out. So anyway, older model for sure. I mean, as far as how long I've had it, I mean, so I've had this model since at least '99. So that was back in the day when hold on a second here. That was back in the day when I was, you could buy these army deals, and Games Workshop was all about, switching things out for you, and that's what a lot of us did. We switched out models, and for the stuff that we didn't need or didn't want. And I mean it was well, actually, wait a minute, I'm trying to think. I don't think that was Games Workshop. No, I apologize. That was the War Store, Neil at the warstore.net or .com. And I'm not sure if he's still around anymore. I don't think so. He was out of New York. He was supplying us here in Okinawa, Japan, and or when we were over there. And I mean, it helped outfit a lot of us that wanted, whatever vehicles, whatever models it is that we wanted. So, okay. One second. But going further, these were some of my first conversions. You've got this right here is from a Bradley fighting vehicle, Army Bradley fighting vehicle turret, and I mean I'm obviously gonna have to glue something here. It looks like it's a little broken here, but I mean it's a very fine piece. And again, this thing's at least 2 decades old. Well, let me think about that. Let me do my math. Yeah, 2 decades old. So that being said, I mounted some heavy bolters on here for twin linked heavy bolters, smoke launcher, storm bolter, and then the I believe this was a tow missile system, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know my Army armor recognition anymore that well, but I believe this was tow missile system, and basically this was going to serve as my hunter killer missiles. So it worked out really well as a command vehicle, was what I used it for. Not that it had any real specific anything that could help it out worse than anything else other than that twin linked heavy bolter, but I really liked it a lot, and I had a lot of fun with this model. So I also did not ever put anything on top, though I may do that next time. So that being said, we've got a ton. I'm not going to break them all out right now, but I've got a ton of tanks that got Basilisk even, that needs tracks, because I've got a turret here for Chimera that literally needs to be repaired and get a new gun in the top. I mean a turret gun, get their storm bolters put back on. But this army right here, this was basically it. You had 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait a minute, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 Chimeras. Looks like 2 tanks, 1 regular Lehman Russ and 1 Vanquisher, and then 1 Basilisk, and then the rest of the troops that I had. But this army is obviously going to expand due to the fact that I have the stuff that I have, and of course repairs have to be made and whatnot. But it's going to be it'll be a worthwhile project to get done. But essentially what we're looking at is putting together rescuing and rebuilding my Steel Legion. We're looking at putting together some Cadians. May have to buy another box to make it a legal army. I do have a commissar that can go with them, and I have some Cadian snipers, and then of course the stormtroopers, or Katachan, or however you say it now. I do have this Vanquisher cannon that I can put. I mean, I have a ton more tanks. You don't even understand. Forget that box over there that's got 3 Lehman Russes in it. This box right here that I can't pull it up right now, but literally sitting in the bottom are 6 tanks that for the most part are put together, and that's not including the rest of the tanks that are still on the sprue. It's a crazy amount of tanks that I have, and I'm talking about like Lehman Russes, because I was going to have at one point, I'm trying to remember what it was called. I guess you could just field a tank army, no ground troops, and that's why I got those, and you know, and it was through that swapping program and everything like that. So Neil, if you're still out there, man, you know, thank you for the memories, and thank you for, you know, the hookups and stuff like that. But anyway, we've got you know, what do we got here? We've got 4 Sentinels that have to be fixed along with their las cannons, because these are the Steel Legion Sentinels along with their fully armored compartments. The only issue is we do have this one that's prime now, that's missing one antenna. Maybe I can figure something out, or maybe I just won't even worry about it. But before we go any further, I want to show you guys this last piece. Remember I was telling you guys about the tower, right? And how it just really irked me about GW's rules. You know, I mean, basically stealing my rules as far as your marker lights and stuff like that. So that way you can hit something, you know, you can't see, or bonuses to hitting and stuff like that. This right here, let me see if I can get it up here for you guys. This right here is the custom forward observer team that I made way back when, before the TAL Codex ever came out, and was the centerpiece for the rules that I sent to Games Workshop through the White Dwarf program. As you can see, we've got a missile launcher guy, along with I'm trying to remember, that box I believe goes to Sentinels on the side, and then I just used some cables or whatever to make it look like it went to, you know, to that box. I know this isn't the best light or whatever, but here, maybe that's better. Yeah, that's a little bit better. But I mean, this right here, if I had any proof, this is it, guys. This is my proof. And I was working on a second team, excuse me, which is in there somewhere. Yeah, here's the guy. Here's one of the box guy. And yeah, I was working on a second team when I got the news that my rules couldn't work. They couldn't work in 40K, and I said, okay, cool, no problem. And then, like I said, you know, when the TAL Codex came out, and actually I looked it up. It was actually 2001, I think, is when the Codex came out. Copyright 2001. Yeah, they were my rules, you know. So it is what it is. It's, you know, decades old, you know, gripe, I guess, but that's okay. I'm sort of over it. I'm actually, you know, now that I have the towel put together and actually in the case, it looks pretty good. If you guys haven't seen the completion video of all of them on the table, it's not bad at all. I suspect that there may be more towel lurking around. I don't know that for certain, but either way, if we come across them, we'll get them together and do that. But yeah, the whole chaos thing, I really wanted to do it. Man, it is a lot of stuff. I mean, again, I've got one of every army as far as chaos demons would be concerned, and as far as, you know, chaos space marines would be concerned. I mean, if you mixed them. And then I have to figure out how I would like to do Chaos Undivided. And technically I have two different types of plague marines. I've got the old metal ones, you know, well, as you guys would say, squat marines. And then I've got the new ones, you know, that are Primaris size, which I don't even understand why Games Workshop did that, but whatever. Anyway, that's what we're going to be doing. Is we're going to be working on guard. It's going to be a nice change of pace, other than putting arms on bodies, because I understand, I remember that frustration as well. And I mean, I was so into these guys. I mean, I took the head off of somebody and put it on this guy, and I think he was supposed to be inside of I'm trying to think. I think he was supposed to be inside one of the Sentinels, and then I realized, oh, then I got the armored compartment stuff, and I was like, okay, well, I don't need that anymore. So maybe I can take his head off and put it back on in wherever the guy is that's missing a head. I don't know. But I thought you guys might be interested in seeing some of this stuff. I mean, it brings back a lot of memories for me. I actually found, I didn't bring it out this time. Maybe I'll bring it out for next video. But I found an old photo album of some of the games that we played and things like that. I don't think there's any pictures of me per se, but some of our old boards, and you know, just a lot. They were different days, you know. And in Okinawa, Japan, we really didn't have a whole lot that we could, you know, at our fingertips for resources to, you know, to make things. Most of us were new to the hobby, or at least hobbying, and you know, my Steel Legion is in there in all their glory, although they weren't fully painted at the time. And in those pictures that I believe they were just getting started to get painted. And just a fun fact or fun thing. The whole reason I even got into the Guard was because, and I think I said this a long time ago in one of my first videos, the whole reason I even got into the Guard to begin with was because somebody said the Guard can't win. You cannot win with the Guard. And I said, okay. And I went and bought, you know, well, just so happened, you know, Steel Legion, Armageddon came out with the Steel Legion models, and I fell in love with them, jumped all over it, and next thing you know, the Guard couldn't lose. And it, man, Chaos players hated me. Like I said, we had about a 40-man gaming club, and man, Chaos players hated me. Orc players hated me, and I don't think. Well, there was one guy who had some of the old Necrons, which, ugh. But anyway, I mean the older ones. You know, they look like the Terminator and stuff, or tried to look like the Terminator. He had all these crazy rules that none of us knew anything about, and I'm not even sure that the Necrons had a legitimate codex at the time. I don't think that they did. I think he was playing off a second issue, and we couldn't beat, I mean, Space Marines and whatnot, we just couldn't win, you know. Plus he didn't have a lot of them. That was the other thing. So it was very unbalanced for what you could take versus what he was bringing. But when I got the Guard, man, dude, I was wrecking things. And this is also for you new players. This is back in the day when you had to guess, you know, the range to the target with your basilisks and things like that. When you had scatter dice, you know, to see if the shot landed on target and things like that. You know, is it better now versus then? I don't know. I just remember, you know, a lot of folks would, you know, they try to make the argument, oh, well, it's a 4x4 foot table. We didn't play on 4 foot tables most of the time. Most of the time we were playing on like 8 foot by 16 foot or whatever. I mean, they were some legit huge battlefields. Not the greatest terrain. We were limited to, you know, aquarium and fish tank type stuff, and then whatever we could find on the beaches and, you know, and whatnot. I even made I think I talked about this a long time ago as well. I made an entire trench system of, or a trench system out of Chiclets gum, off the backs of delivery pizza boxes and foam, and then popsicle sticks, and it was amazing. Now, I mean, obviously the Chiclets gum didn't lay, you know, like a sandbag really would, but if you could tell by the smile on my face, I'm really thinking about all this stuff back then, and you know, the razor wire and everything that we did. I mean, it was a good time. It was a really good time. Yeah, really good time. So anyway, that's what we're working on. I'm going to be putting these guys back together, sanding them down, you know, stuff like that. I also have my Astra Militarum Codex here, at least the one that I have, which, let's see here. I'll tell you what the copyright is on this one. As you can see, it hasn't really been opened either. Copyright on this one, 2017. So I think this is the latest. And what I'm looking for specifically is, oh, and if you guys remember, I was talking about the Manticore. This is what I was talking about right here, man. with those Tau missiles that I'm not going to use, I could finagle something. You know what I mean? I mean, I could make my own anyway, but I mean, I've got a Chimera, you know, hull. There's no reason I can't make it. So, pretty excited about that. I'm glad I actually was able to think about it. I also thought about doing a Wyvern, you know, and how could I make a Wyvern? All of these, man. All of these. I have tons of these. Let's see. Hydras, that would be pretty easy to do as well. But what I'm looking for specifically is I want to see. Okay, vehicle equipment list. I'll have to check that out. Ranged weapons, melee, other war gear. I'm looking for, and mind you, there will be Imperial Knights with these armies as well. Well, at least with the Steel Legion and the Krieg Death Corps. Now, the Steel Legion Knight will be painted in such a way that it can move to whatever. Alright, so apparently we did not find the vehicle list. Alright, what do we got here? Where are you? Stratagems. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for ranged weapons. No. Well, anyway, 100 killer missile. That's the first thing I need to find out. Here it is. 48 inches of range. Wow. Heavy one. Can only be fired once per battle. Well, that's new for me because 100 killer missile back in the day used to be unlimited range, and it was the pinnacle of. And I don't know if I've covered this in a video, but I'll be happy to tell you guys. It was the pinnacle of one of the greatest battles I ever fought in Warhammer. It was literally 4 days, 96 hours, no sleep, general's battle, and my Steel Legion are the ones that came out on top at the end of it. 8 players on each side, and the first shot heard around the world was a 100 killer missile that took out an Orc Gargant Titan playing with, I think it was 2nd edition rules or something. Basically, we said if you could find the rules for it, then you can use it. So, I mean, it was totally cool. Let's see here. Scout Sentinels. Alright. Any model may take 100 killer missile. Okay, so that's what I was worried about because... Wait a minute. Armored Sentinel. Okay, they can too. That's how I modeled these guys, you know what I mean? So I really didn't want to lose that because I had to put, well, I mean, heck, if you look at this, let's see, this one's been, it just looks dumb, you know? I mean, if you take a look at this one, oh, let me get in the camera. You take a look at that one compared to, say, this one. It looks like it's missing something, doesn't it? I mean, you know, even if you take this, you know, the wiring away, it looks like it's missing something, like it needs something. So that was something that I was a little concerned about. But anyway, I only have 5 Sentinels. They're, you know, obviously going to be for my Steel Legion because, you know, my mechanized infantry or mechanized group is, you know, they're my main focus here. I do believe, unfortunately, I don't think you had a choice in this one. Yeah, all the legs are positioned the same. Might be different these days, I don't know. But yeah, I'm really excited, you know, that one, we've basically finished with the Tau, and 2, I'm excited that these guys are gonna be seeing the light of day again, and you know, walking amongst the ruins again, serving the Emperor of mankind. And the other thing to take note of is that the paint jobs that I had on these guys, I was limited to spray paint, and we didn't have really acrylic paint. It was something else over there. Wasn't quite enamel, or maybe it was. I don't remember. But regardless, it wasn't like the stuff we have now. And that in and of itself is a game changer for this army as far as painting goes, because now I've got an airbrush. I know how to use it. Careful, I have an airbrush. I know how to use it. And you know, the base coat's going to be a lot, you know, smoother, just like, you know, this primer right here. It's totally smooth. So that's going to be, you know, really good to go. And I quickly went outside to paint, you know, to paint this because I wanted you guys to see the difference. But anyway, we're going to get to this here. Probably our best bet here, rather than fighting all this glue, is going to be to sand it. So thankfully we have these sanding twigs, sticks, whatever you want to call it. And I'm really looking I mean, obviously you guys know I have, if you've watched any of my older videos when we were doing orcs and stuff, I have a Bane blade, an armor cast Bane blade that also turns into a oh gosh, is it a storm sword? Or, I don't know. It's a really long cannon. It's a volcano cannon is what it is. And man, I can't believe I can't remember. I wonder if it's on this box. I don't think you can make that with this one, but I mean, honestly, the way the game is played now, I don't think it's that important. Let's see here. You're supposed to be able to make 2 different variants, I think, on this. Hellhammer. I don't know. Yeah, I can't remember the name of it now. I feel like it was like Shadow Sword. That's it. Shadow Sword. Yeah, so I haven't fully committed to giving that Bane blade to the orcs to build a battle wagon. Just because I think if I was gonna do that, I might do something else instead. Like put some what am I trying to say? Use something else, because I've seen some other stuff out there that I like a lot better than using the Bane blade as the chassis. But you know, we'll see what happens. But the only problem we have with what I'm doing here is we've got a lot of connection issues, and we had connection issues to begin with. I mean, honestly, I mean, when you first put this thing together, it was just, I mean, the top of this Sentinel is very heavy, for those of you that don't know. What I am attempting to do at the moment is drill out a little bit of this glue that's on here, just to weaken it some. I don't want to get crazy and start cutting into the plastic. I just want to chip it off. There we go. And then something I'm gonna do, or I'm thinking about doing, is I'm thinking about pinning this thing with some paper clips, but I'm not really that great at doing that, and they never seem to line up like they should. It's just a pain in the butt, man, and I don't understand why it always seems to be that way. Also, I don't seem to have any paper clips handy, so I don't want to keep you guys. I think we'll be fine here, actually, doing this, because this will become a plug, which is my other goal here, is to make a glue plug instead of an actual pin, if that makes sense to you guys. And to be honest with you, this stuff was glued, not just glued, but with accelerant, so it got a little, you know, nasty, if you will, in that regard. That's the only drawback to using, you know, what the heck is it? Is it stuff I call, or I mean I use, man, I'm trying to think what it's called. I said it yesterday, and now I don't remember. Zip kicker, that's it. We got some interference in the warp right now. That's why I can't think of things. That happens more often than not, so it might even be Tyranids, I don't know. Shadow in the warp. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked about this. I think it's gonna work out great, honestly. So let's see here. Make sure we got both legs. We do. I want to peel that or get some of this off. The other thing is I don't know exactly, because of the way the bottoms are, I don't know exactly which one goes to which here. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and clip this stuff off, this old glue and stuff, and just basically start from scratch as far as that's concerned. If you're doing this, I probably should be demonstrating this with eye protection on. You probably want to make sure you kind of keep an eye on that. This stuff will definitely fly up in your eye. There was I flew somewhere, I think it was, oh yeah, I flew to Savannah, Georgia, again, way back when, to visit my mother, and I was going to work on some models or whatever for this army and whatnot. I think I had one squad left that had to be painted at the time, and for whatever reason I didn't paint them. And when I was there, they happened to, I mean, I say I flew to Savannah, I flew into Savannah and I went to Statesboro, Georgia, where we lived, or where she lived. Actually met her, Georgia, and moved around a lot in Georgia, if you haven't noticed. Anyway, there was a tournament going on in Savannah, and I took this army there where I won Best Sportsman, and I probably would have won the tournament, but, and I can't remember if I covered this in an older video, but there was a young kid there that, I mean, he I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 years old. He wasn't having a good time because he didn't really know how to play. And while we dealt with this individual, there was a guy that literally was yelling and screaming at the kid. I mean, this guy's probably in his 30s. It was a horrible situation. Yelling and screaming at the kid about how he was breaking the rules and everything else. Again, the kid was brand new to the hobby, didn't know anything about any of this stuff, and we ended up, it ended up me saying something to the guy, and then the guy's dad came in, who happened to be in the Coast Guard and stuff like that, and the guy ended up getting kicked out of the tournament. But regardless, the kid was just really, really upset, and I didn't really care. I mean, I think first prize was like a Land Raider, back when they cost $50, and I mean, it didn't matter to me at that point, so I played the kid and I just kind of let him win. Explained the rules as we went along, and this was all 3rd edition, by the way, and probably the one edition I know backwards and forwards. Now I'm like the ultimate noob, and I don't know anything. I'm over here making mistakes on Tabletop Simulator, and you guys are probably throwing things at the wall, going, "No, it's not how it works." But anyway, yeah, so a lot of great memories in this hobby. I mean, great memories. And I forgot where I was even going with that, but anyway, oh no, now I know the reason that I'm having to do this is because this is probably, I think this is the 3rd time I have had to fix these legs, because when I got there, whatever happened through your baggage and all that stuff, I mean, I had them padded and everything else, but it didn't matter, man. They must have thrown my stuff around like it was a game. And when I opened them up, man, well, now that I think about this, I'm thinking maybe they broke them by throwing them around. But now I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking the possibility of air permeating, inside the, a gap in the glue or something, and then expansion, equalization could have broke it off. I don't know. So there's that possibility as well. But either way, open it up and the legs were all broken off. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Because I didn't put the legs back on this one. It's just these 3 that I've always had a problem with. This guy, the legs didn't come off here, but they broke off down here, and I ended up having to fix that long before I went to that tournament. Man, I'm starting to really remember that tournament. As a matter of fact, that was also the tournament that the first player that I beat or played against and beat, he tried to cheat me. He gave me his list, and I handed him my list, but I hadn't quite gotten it out of the box yet. And I don't know, I think he went to the bathroom or something like that, and then when he came back, I had all my models up, and so I decided to go to the bathroom, and in that time, he decided to go, oh, I'm going to change my list. And that wasn't supposed to be how it was supposed to go, but it didn't matter. I still wiped him off the table in, I think, 2 turns or 3 turns. And, you know, he was, if I'm not mistaken, he was a Chaos player, and he wasn't real happy about it. But, I mean, like I've said before, I build my armies to kill Space Marines. You know what I mean? That's just, you know, how I've always done it. And it may not be the best loadout. It may not even be what the meta is today. But that's, you know, that's where I'm at with all of this. So let's see what we got going on here with this leg. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked about this. I'm glad to be moving on to another army for sure. Obviously, we'll have my Cadian army and my Katachan army are not going to be big. I'm not putting Sentinels in them. I'm not giving the Katachans a tank. You know, they're just going to be like, you know, ground troops for smaller games, that kind of stuff, or, you know, auxiliary detachments or attachments, sorry. And then the Cadians, you know, I wouldn't mind having them, but to be honest with you, they're not going to be painted like Cadians, like the green and all that. They're going to be painted, you know, something else. I'll tell you, I like the Scions a little bit. I just wish that they all had the helmet look. I like that look. I don't like the berets and stuff like that. And when I mean the helmet, I mean full-on helmet, you know, with the face, you know, the face shield and everything. And I might be wrong. Maybe that's how they are. I haven't looked at them in forever. Yeah, so I know I've been doing a lot of talking and not really putting things together. It's just nostalgia, and, you know, again, this is a rescue mission. Got things to clean up here, as you can see. Thank goodness that I have this Dremel. When you get on the plastic parts, you gotta be careful because you'll burn, you'll basically melt it if you're going too fast. Alright, so he's got his missile, 100 kilo missile, he's got his 100 kilo missile. This guy's the one missing the 100 kilo missile. Got it. Glue, where did you go? There you are. Okay, so put that on there, a little bit of glue on there. And put this bad boy on here. Something I did to help make the 100 killer missile blend in. I don't know if you guys will notice this or not, but there's a piece of curved sprue. I'll show you here in a second. I just need to get this thing lined up, because I also put it's basically I have this missile. It's not quote 100. It's obviously a Space Marine missile. You know what I mean? Missile launcher like the old ones. Come on, man. Gotta turn it because it's got the little targeting thing on there. Might have put the wrong thing on, the wrong one. I had to attach one on a different one, so this might be I might have swapped them the wrong way. Potentially what I did, but I don't think anybody will notice. I won't. Okay, I say that, but you know what I mean. But anyway, yeah, right here, if you look at the tip of my glue here, this little plastic piece right here is a curved piece of sprue to try to give it like some kind of, you know, metal piece or something like that came up and, you know, and joins it together. The only problem I have is this is not lining up right. Should more of an extent than I'm willing to deal with here. There it goes. Okay, we got it. Now we'll just let that bad boy cure without messing around with him. We'll put him in Dr. Octopus over here. Well, okay, we'll try. Dr. Octopus is not flat on the table. There we go. Yeah, that'll work. Not too bad, I don't think. I just want to turn that slightly. And of course, as soon as I start messing with it, I mess it up. Oh gosh, man, sometimes you just gotta leave stuff alone, but I'm OCD, I guess. Well, gotta take it off, Dr. Octopus. Whoa, easy, killer. What is the stinking problem here? It's almost like we've got too much on the bottom. I think that's our problem. So we're gonna have to take that off. Clippers. That's another thing to of note, is that back when I did all this stuff, I didn't have clippers like this. I mean, I didn't have the sandpaper, you know. I mean, these are all luxuries that we just didn't have. So a lot of this was just done with the one X-Acto blade that I could find, you know, in the PX or whatever, and you know, and then cutting and hoping for the best, basically. And I mean, if I really wanted to, I'm sure I've got extra Space Marine parts. I can put some newer missiles on this, but I mean, where's the fun in that? You know, I mean, it's gonna look fine, you know, once it's all glued together, so I'm not too terribly concerned. I can hear my little man in the room in his crib crying. His mom's in there. He's had a big day. Had a nap for about 3 hours, and then they literally, my oldest literally ran around with him for like an hour and a half trying to tire him out. Okay, it doesn't look bad. We're gonna let that cure a little bit, then we'll go back and re-glue it. Okay, now can't seem to get Dr. Octopus to grab his leg. What the heck? Didn't have any problem before. What is your deal? Yep, I thought that was gonna happen. We're gonna have to put something in there to keep the nose up on that thing. Or hold it one. Just wants to keep falling down. Alright, I think we're good. Let's leave it alone. Okay, let's see here. What's next? Let's drill a hole in this bad boy here. Break off some of that glue. and make ourselves a glue plug. This is what'll end up happening. Okay. No. Yes and yes. And this is where it's going to get a little tricky because we've got to be able to line it up with the feet on those. Yeah, I didn't have any, you know, hand drills like this or anything. Not for like 5-6 years of my playing, something like that. And if you're, I'm assuming everybody understands what I mean by glue plug. I'm gonna glue them together, but there's gonna be enough glue in here that's gonna be inside the holes. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be a, you know, basically a glue pin, if you will. They may not necessarily line up correctly, but it'll work, I promise. All right. Let's work on this guy first. That does not look flat enough for me, so I need to sand some more off. Straight down the middle. There we go. All right, now I need to figure out, oh, I haven't done this. My bad. I'm not really cutting the plastic so much as I'm just trying to break up the glue that's on it. Let's take a look at this before we do anything. Yeah, so that's not going to work like that. This might work. Let's see here. Okay, so it's not that one. Could be this one. That one looks pretty decent. And it could be that one, but I think we're gonna go with this one over here. So let's make sure this bad boy's prepared. So yeah, these were all in a box just thrown in there basically because they were already broken apart. Okay. So we're going to have a little bit of an issue here, but that's what we got Dr. Octopus for. And that's what I kind of expected would happen. Now, if this is good to go, I'm just going to put a little bit more glue on here. So that'll be good to go, and we will set that off to the side somewhere else. Let it cure. I don't really want it to do anything but go straight down, so probably gonna have to lean it up on this chimera here. Alright, so let's get Dr. Octopus over here, so make some room. Let's get our primed and fixed guy out of the way. Right up there. This is the one we're working with, right? Right. Okay. Nope, wrong one, wrong arm. First thing we gotta do is make sure we can get a good grip on this bad boy somewhere. Perhaps on the smokestacks. Looks about right. Slide this over, because this is what's going to be holding our model in place, so the shaking of our hand doesn't get in the way. I just want to double check this because I'm still going to drill it. Oops. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. I just want to check and make sure one more time this is the right one. No, I'm starting to think it's not, but it might just be because it's kind of sort of leaning over. Yeah, I'm thinking this is not the right one, and I'm gonna check one more time here. Yeah, this can't be the right one, because I had my guys level. They weren't you know, aimed up, if you will. And I think this was the other one we thought was a contender potentially. Yeah, that looks better ish. Okay, so I'll let that sit for a second, and then I'm gonna get this prepped because I don't think I did. I know I'm not on camera, just bear with me. I'm gotta bear down on this thing pretty good. And this Steel Legion army used to be a couple of different colors. First they were like a German snow camo, and then they were basically a dark, you know, gray and black army with green helmets. Really? That's how we're gonna play this? I freaking knew you were gonna do that. Needed to make a pilot hole. Okay. I think that's, yeah, that one's good to go. So I'm just gonna let that fucking hang out down there. And then we're going to glue. I'm not gonna worry about that part of it. I'll do this one, but I'm just not sure that's gonna matter lining up as far as that's concerned. Plus, it's a downward angle, so getting that glue to stay up in there is gonna be a problem. I want to fill the hole with glue. I'm gonna have this bad boy sit right on top. Gotta line up the Achilles heel part. And then I'm gonna run glue down the side so that it goes underneath it, you know, like that. Okay, now we're gonna attempt to put this bad boy on here. That's filled. That is filled. This is filled. And maybe that'll work, I don't know. Hopefully we can get it on there before it drips all out. And I really wanted to wait on this one, but I thought maybe I could get it done like I just did, so we're gonna let that sit. And with that, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, as soon as family leaves and you know things get a little different, we'll be on a better time, you know, closer to 8 through 9 o'clock or whatever. And I'm looking forward to getting back to gaming and doing some more videos. So again, please like, share, comment, subscribe. The likes definitely help. So if you're watching it, please like, and we'll see you next time.